Jake and I ran in the same circles, and I don't know. We all just kind of came together and we're like, well, we like making theater. We like each other. Like, let's carry this forward. Let's move forward. Yeah.
Nice.
Not a crazy story.
No. But I mean,
dull.
It is, but it's not, to be discounted. It's as a, people with creative temperaments don't often get along for an extended period of time.
Sure.
Yeah. The fact that you guys have kind of hung out this long is
it's kind of funny. I think I take it for granted, actually.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Because we're all such good friends outside of it, too. I mean, I live with Jake and have for like 2.5 years now.
There's another guy who has an infectious attitude.
Sometimes, yeah, for the most part.
Yeah.
God, he's so outgoing.
Not the same
he's
as
so
Chris,
good with
but
people.
It's different. Yeah.
He's a real bastard, too. I don't get it. Like, he can just meet people and joke and smile, and I'm like, how? While I'm just, like, brooding in a corner.
It's something that, as soon as I get off mic, I stop talking.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not, I have this to kind of hide behind, but especially, if there's one person, I'm good. If it starts to, to branch out into multiple people, I'm going to get a beer and stand in the corner.
That's the best place.
Yeah.
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 Most people are just so damn dumb anyway.
This is true. I can't agree with that more. The inanity of conversation, the vapid kind of thing.
Yeah. It doesn't offer anything. It's not stimulating. I don't gain anything from it. Like, I know a bunch of people. I was recently, like, very briefly dating this one woman, and she was one of those people who had nothing to say, just incredibly vapid, very nice, but I'd hang out with her and I'd leave and I'd be like, I'm a dull person. I have to be a dull person. I must be really boring because I don't know what to talk to her about because she talks about nothing. But, like, I'm internalizing it and being like, it's me.
Yeah.
I'm just very mundane.
Well, this is something that I'm familiar with as a person, I think diagnosed neurotic. But it's always it's always me.
Yeah.
Whatever the problem is, I'll take it on. That's fine. Just pile it on.
I can carry the weight. I've been doing it for years.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can live with it. I wake up with it. It's familiar. I don't know what I would do if it wasn't there. Yeah.
Maybe
I'd be like Chris, but I don't want to be like Chris.
I don't know. This is I think too. I don't know where we are in relation as far as age goes, but
I'm 30.
Okay, so I'm good. Shit, almost 7 years older than you. So
okay.
But it's I don't know. There's something I've learned to, like, just this year learn to live with my level of miserableism on like a level that I can somehow find joy in things, which is odd. That's a new feeling for me that I haven't gotten used to.
All right.
But I don't hang on to things anymore. It's like the fuck it attitude has taken over. I don't quite call it Zen because I don't think I'm there yet, but it's definitely a fuck it thing.
There's a certain joy to just hating on things and then letting it go, right? Like judging the shit out of something or someone and then, taking the time to, revel in it because, you're a condescending, miserable bastard.
Right.
And then
I've been accused of that, yes.
Move forward and be like, I'm better than it anyways. Now I'm going to go home and hate myself because I'm not good enough for anyone or anything. Like that real nice, paradox.
Yeah, exactly. Like all of you are awful and I'm the worst.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's true. I don't know. So, but it's great fuel for writing. I've found over the
absolutely.
And there's a grand tradition of people who hate themselves that have written wonderful work. Bukowski, namely, is a great
Ernest
example
Hemingway
of that.
didn't like himself.
Certainly, yeah.
Sylvia Plath.
Yeah.
Like most of them, they're real. James Joyce was miserable. Samuel Beckett was miserable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that you can succeed and not be miserable.
I think, So I think that you can succeed and not be miserable if you write things like science fiction.
All right, yeah, that's fair.
But if you're going to write anything that takes a peek into the human condition in a meaningful way, I think at your core, you're miserable.
Well, because you have to be spending so much time like living in it and ruminating on it.
Right.
To be able to do that analysis.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that makes sense to me. I can't imagine fantasy writers are...
Right.
They probably bounce right out of bed.
Well, I think that, they look at the possibilities of things. I don't know, unless you're Philip K. Dick. Maybe then you can have a negative outlook on life and write science fiction, but,
And his science fiction's pretty good.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, I really love the questions he asks quite a bit. I just read, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep not too long ago, and his writing in and of itself may not be the best.
Right.
Like, aesthetically, but, like, fucking cool story.
Philosophically,
yeah. Really thoughtful.
For sure.
Just about what it means to be human and what makes a human human.
We were just talking about High Fidelity off mic, and that's the reverse situation for me, where I've seen the film Blade Runner and not read the book.
Okay, yeah.
So I would like we kind of swapped on that. But yeah, it's he's definitely somebody. I've seen films that are made out of his work. Scanner Darkly too.
Yeah.
Great. But it's I don't know. And so, well, let's go to you a little bit. We've spent a bunch of time talking, but it's all connected, right? Because that kind of gets at what one of it's a more interesting way of skirting the standard question of what are your influences, right?
Sure,
you can talk about what you like to read and what kind of what philosophically you're interested in. So I went and saw Lavender Was the other night, and I thought it was fantastic.
Thank you.
I tend to really enjoy things like that, though, that are I mentioned Bukowski earlier, Raymond Carver. Even from a musical standpoint, Tom Waits or
absolutely.
And there's, like John Cassavetes as far as film goes.
Yeah.
Things that kind of take, and that's what I'm interested in my own writing too, is that, I'm interested in the dynamic of men and women and the, obviously from the male standpoint, because that's what I know.
Yeah.
But, and I think it's foolish to try to write otherwise. Sometimes people can get away with it, but I don't know.
I'm not that person.
Yeah, it's but I think that that what I liked about the play and what I like about other things that kind of examine those dynamics is that I don't think that it's a source of ideas or things that you can explore about relationships between men and women. I don't think that it's something that can ever, the same story can be told from a lot of different angles.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's not necessarily a reinvention of the wheel, but there's always a different take on something.
Yeah.
And the idea that you can look at a relationship and examine it from 1,000 different directions and come out with something completely different every time. But rather than starting directly with Lavender Was, maybe can you talk about for a little bit sort of where you started as a writer and what led you to this? Have you written much prior to this?
So I'll see what I can do. I'm terrible at talking about myself. Hopefully this will be slightly more intelligible than a schizophrenic with a mouthful of peanut butter.
Yeah, there we go. So that's why we work into it, talking around all the other stuff.
So I started writing when I was 18, and I started writing a book which hasn't been finished, and won't ever be because you grow up, right?
Right.
you get older and it's like, these things aren't important to me anymore. And it's not interesting. Bad.
Well, the writer that you are at 18 is absolutely not the writer you are at 30.
You have to live life and experience things to actually be able to really delve in and talk about them. You know, and it was, you know, you're 18, so it's superficial. I don't beat myself up about it too much.
Sure.
So that's where I started, and then I went to ASU, joined the theater department, right? And then started, I think my first year at ASU, I know, when the Phoenix Fringe Festival was still a thing.
Okay.
I wrote a one act for that we went, produced, and put up. And that was all right. It was called Deadweight. I'm sure no one listening to this saw it. It's fine.
You never know.
Yeah. But that was like, I was really trying at something very kind of philosophical with that. Don't know that I achieved it. I think it was just pretty recursive overall, just talking itself in circles. But I think you do that a lot as a younger writer, you know.
You kind of have to write. So I wrote a novella when I was 18, 19.
Okay.
I actually did finish it, but it was awful, and it sat in a drawer forever, and I think I don't even have a copy of it anymore. But it was something that no matter how many people read and thought it was good, I'm like, nah, it's shit. Because you have to write, as a young writer, you have to write out of your influences before you can find your voice. Yeah.
So yeah, and then from there, like, I'm growing as an artist. I'm being exposed at school, you know, to a lot of different writers, and just like a lot of different styles of art in general, you know, especially with ASU having had its focus on more experimental work. So, and then from there, you know, I was taking playwriting classes, you know, writing some like 10 minutes, one acts, and just kind of, you know, kept going from there, I guess. Nothing too spectacular, or, you know, there wasn't like some epiphanial moment that changed my life and I said I had to do this.
Sure.
I just enjoyed it and was like, had some modicum of talent or enough, you know, confidence in myself with it, which is rare. So yeah, you got to take what you get and run with it.
Right.
And then, you know, things kind of, and then there was things I wrote. So with Lavender in particular, that was kind of collage out of other plays I had written, actually.
Okay.
One of which was, it started out as the bathtub scene.
Yeah.
That was its own independent 10-minute piece. That's where that started out as. And then I went ahead and wrote a whole play around it. Mediocre at best. Just fucking horrible. And I remember I submitted it to Phoenix Theater for their Hormel New Works Festival. Didn't get accepted. Shouldn't have been accepted. Shouldn't have existed, period. And that was like a very straightforward, like, that was just the most generic relationship play you could have ever fucking written. With the exception of that bathtub scene, and then I think the avocado scene came out of that too.
Okay.
Earlier on. So there were a couple good things, but for the most part, just abject trash, just a dumpster fire. And then, so I walked away from that, and later on, after like, there was a whole journey, like I dropped out of school for a while, had the best year of my life, let me tell you what. Just amazing, you know. Any year where you attempt suicide is a great year in my book, you know. But which also factors in the Lavender, though, is during that year I was writing a lot of poetry, and some of that got absorbed into Lavender Was. The I'm Sorry monologue.
Right.
That was originally written about myself. Actually, all three of the big monologues, the two that I have, and then the I'm Sorry one, those were all written completely independently and during that year. And then when I got back to school, and I started taking writing classes again, I was working on this post. It was an attempt at like a postmodern piece, right? Very meta theatrical, And it was about, you know, this character like gradually coming to life. And the whole thing was like, you know, kind of a mess. It wasn't necessarily bad.